Okay, here we go to an episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff to have a really cool update for you guys from the brand Divecore. Originally started back in 2020 as Vortex straps, pardon me, and headquartered out of Houston, Texas. Divecore specializes in professional grade rubber dive straps for ISO compliant divers featuring 2.5 millimeter fat spring bars. Now, in terms of the background of this particular product, this is their American FKM Divecore HP professional diving strap, and it's essentially their latest and most premium evolution of their original Vortex diving watch strap. Now, the modifications do consist of upgrading the material to an American FKM rubber, as well as an increase in length of both the strap from 70 and 120 millimeters to 80 and 127 millimeters. The design of the strap was heavily improved by switching to curved edges. They also added vented holes, increased, in terms of the thickness of the keeper, tapering sections, and refinement of their signature mono accordion design for flexibility, as well as a large level of comfort was all achieved by these refined modifications based on real life results from learning along the way with those earlier iterations of their Vortex dive strap. These go for $60 direct or $68 if you add in that black DLC buckle. But with the standard steel, they're going to go for $60. There is also that deep C EDC collab for $62. And these are available in both 20 and 22 millimeter lug widths. Again, with that standard stainless steel tang buckle or the black DLC options. So with all that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get these pieces in hand, and take a closer look. Okay, guys, let's actually start off with this bright boy right here, this beautiful yellow. This is their collaboration strap with Deep Sea EDC, and it is gorgeous. What a vibrant yellow. And the nice thing is with this bright color, you can really see all of the design highlights of this piece. Very nice ventilation. Really nice contouring on the underside for that great comfortability. Also that single accordion, which is very nice. So it's going to give you those benefits, being able to hold onto your wrist, whether it's expanding or retracting with greater depth. Now, another thing that's great is, like I said, single accordion. So a lot of the times these will be asymmetrical on other dive straps. So it's kind of nice to see them just have that single wave versus sometimes there'll be 3 on one side and 2 on the other, and it can be a bit distracting and jarring. I have to say, on this little Seiko baby tuna in its Save the Ocean form, I think the yellow is absolutely gorgeous. Very, very supple, guys. That American FKM is absolutely feeling more premium than their original FKM production. So very, very cool. A little bit darker in tone, but very, very vibrant still. Is going to be this gorgeous kind of reddish orange colorway. And of course, I think it goes really well, of course, with orange accents, like on this Momentum kind of Magnum PI inspired reissue. And as you guys can see, it doesn't matter whether it's a more kind of contemporary or a more retro design aesthetic. These really suit these watches really well. I mean, these are dive watch straps made for dive watches. Now, one thing you might have noticed when I had the Seiko up close is that you're not going to see those quick release spring bars. And that's because I swapped them out. And I just used the factory spring bars because these spring bars don't have the fat tips. They just have the fat body. And with that, that means that when you do swap in your OEM fat tipped spring bars, the nice thing is you can have the fatter tip with the fatter bar, and it works great. And you don't really need quick release spring bars in these cases because you do typically have drilled lugs when it comes to these more ISO compliant divers. Now, On the other side of the coin, you can see here, we left it pretty standard. Everything plugs in great. And with the smaller tips, it's going to make it that much more versatile and that much more useful in terms of kind of cross, platforms. So different watches are going to be able to lock in very, very nicely. Speaking of locking in, guys, check out this beautiful locking system here. As you can see, if we lift that up, there's just a little puck, essentially, that's going to interlock with that hole. Now, are they the first to do this? Absolutely not, but I will say it's a nicety that I can appreciate, especially when you have this type of strap where you could potentially have a lot of access length here, because of course you want to have enough length to where it can go over a dive suit, but also not so much length that it's flopping around on a daily basis. One thing you'll also notice is with the black, it's definitely more of a matted colorway. So this is just something to keep in mind. Whereas these colors, I would say, are going to be more saturated with those bright colors. When it comes to the black, it's definitely a bit lighter in tone, which might not be for everyone. And I would probably recommend this more so to go with watches that are going to have that similar matte aesthetic to them. So maybe a watch that has, instead of like a deep glossy ceramic insert, something with more of a matted coated aluminum or steel insert would probably flow a little bit better. We also do have, I just wanted to show you guys, check that out. Very nice in terms of that black DLC coating. Very clean, very well done, and you can see very cool. And this is going to be a little bit of a contrast with the 22 millimeter setup. So this is going to be able to fit on your larger, more traditional dive watches, whereas these two are showcasing, actually three are going to be in the 20 millimeter length. I also do have a 22 in the orange. Big shout out to Divecore for sending these in kind of ahead of their main release window so that I could share them with you guys. But yeah, again, this is a very bright but very saturated orange with a warmer kind of reddish hue to it, so that it might not match with your more pale orange colors. And but I think this is still very handsome, and even with the thicker size, it's still extremely supple. From that perspective, also very nice. Of course, I think this kind of combines a lot of the style cues you would think of when you think of an iso frame strap, as well as your traditional accordion style dive straps, whether you're thinking of kind of Italian Benito Centuri, or you're thinking about OEM Seiko or Citizen divers that do have these accordion style setups. So very nice, very, very handsome. And again, ultimately very versatile, because you do have a lot of room there now to accommodate various types of spring bars. And this will essentially slide right out, or at least a little bit, because, you know, it's a pretty form-fitting squeeze in there. But you can see it's very clean in terms of the execution. 20 millimeters FKM. Look at all the contouring. Now there is going to be a slight bit of, you know, the mold lines there, but I will say, you know, I've definitely seen that with more expensive pieces. It's normally a sign, you know, if that is really smooth, then it's, ooh, look at that. It comes out easier when it's falling out versus trying to pull it out, because then it locks in a bit. So I think that's quite helpful, and you know, just for you guys to kind of understand and see this at multiple angles. Now we'll get these kind of pushed off to the sides and actually get this on wrist. Check it out. We'll demo that. We won't cut away, because this is a strap review, not a watch review, and these watches have been long reviewed a while back. So if you're interested in learning more about the watches, definitely check the channel history for that. Now look at that, even reaching around a tripod with a camera in front of me, still very intuitive to be able to slide that on. Very nice engraving there. Check that out. Deep Sea EDC. Love everyday carry category. And check it out. Very, very nice. Very sporty. And again, super vibrant. I really, really like this yellow one. It's really quite fantastic. I don't have a lot of yellow straps. You know, I would say orange, black a lot, gray a lot, dark blues, you know, sprinkled in there as well. But you guys can see, we do that. I mean, it almost just comes together itself. Check that out. Very cool, very retro. And ultimately very, very comfortable. Again, I can't stress the supple nature enough when it comes to how flexible these are. And let me just get it locked in here. Oh, locked in. There we go. Just look at that. This is very, very pliable, very supple, and yeah, I dig that because the aesthetic itself is very robust, very much an overbuilt kind of style, but it's nice that you can have that really nice overbuilt styling, but in something that also still feels quite comfortable to wear. So I'm digging these a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, they're straps. There's not too much to kind of go over when it comes to these, you know. They are going to taper. They're going to, you know, it's obviously a milder taper, but they do also taper in kind of thickness so that when things are folded over, you can see they're a bit thinner, a bit thicker up here at the body, which is going to help keep your mechanical, you know, typically heavier diving mechanical timepiece a lot more secure on the wrist. And then on the underside, we're going to have a double up of material. Of course, it's a lot thinner. Also, I do enjoy that they have so many hole options there, so you can really dial in fitment. It's kind of like having half links when you do have the spacing like that. You can really get small micro adjustable increments, and it just works. And again, a little bit of 22 versus 20, or you could even go this way, 22 versus 20, slightly different in size, but I know there's also a lot of great divers that are in that 22 millimeter lug width range. So it is nice that they do cover those basics. Also, again, having that black coated tang buckle is quite outstanding. So for me, guys, yeah, let's get into some of the closing thoughts. Clean and classic dive watch strap aesthetic that should be, you know, super versatile across many different styles of dive watches. You guys saw here, I mean, whether it's something that really relies on that nostalgia, or something that's going to be a bit more contemporary and new feeling. There's definitely a lot of options to really get this thing to flow. And I mean, I'd say out of the bunch, the yellow really surprised me. It's the standout. Very, very supple, very premium, but still quite electric in its appearance and how good it just looks, how good it wears. I would say, may also make a note that these are quite robust on the ends. So if you do have a watch that has a smaller gap, you know, in terms of where its lug holes are butted up against the case, where a lot of times maybe you're having to use a bent spring bar or curved spring bar, something like that, to get it seated, this might give you some trouble. You might not have all the clearance, but again, that's a very kind of specific thing, but something to definitely be a bit weary of. Now, this, I'd say all in all, this latest evolution of the Divecore HP strap really elevates a great design to an equally great product with a, you know, more supple feel that really feels more premium on the wrist while also looking more premium in execution. You know, at the price point, this product just feels really, really well dialed in. While there are more premium options that are out there, they'll also come with a higher pricing premium. So while things could always become more refined in the future, I do feel honestly that the current product value proposition is still quite balanced, and I'd expect further refinements to come along with further increase in costs. So if you're somebody who really likes the idea of something that's just really purpose built and just well thought out and well executed for essentially $60, this is a really nice value proposition. But let me know what you all think down in the comments below. If you like the video, please do it like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.